The Saudi Pro League is lying to you. Ever heard of Al Wada, Al Akdud, Al Khaloud or Al Aroba? Neither have I. Neither has anyone, seemingly. Not even Saudi media brings them up, yet they play in the same league as some of the greatest players in the world. Enough about Al Nassr, Al Ahly, Al Hilal and Al Ittihad. Let's look at what the Saudi Pro League truly is now. The whole Riyadh season campaign that presents Saudi as a country that hosts some of the most exciting matches and draws the hearts and minds of spectators is drawn directly from the RSL website, and it's just laughable. The league is and always has been a dead horse that the Saudi Investment Fund Group has tried to flog and resuscitate. The transfer of Cristiano Ronaldo to Al Nassr in 2022 went from a laughingstock of an idea to a fever dream that saw football as a sport muddied with eye-watering lumps of cash. It was like placing Lionel Messi into League One. The great Argentine playing Crawley Town every week would be a joke, but money talks. Everyone knows the story of what happened next. Elite players were on the next flight to the country. There were shock moves for many up-and-coming talents, and somehow Neymar was still managing to get injured. What's really going on here is that the powers that be want you to forget about anyone outside of those top few teams. Yeah, they might slip in the odd Yannick Carrasco to Al Shabab here, and a random Moussa Dembele to Al Ettifaq there, but they're almost entirely invisible. I mean, Al Khaloud, just under 34,000 followers on Instagram. They played arguably their biggest away day of the season, away at Al Hilal, and only managed 95 likes on their full-time post. Where are the fans? Is the presence of former Watford defender William Troost-Ekong not enough to draw in a wider audience? It doesn't add up. Going back to Crawley Town for a second, they have nearly 60,000 followers by themselves in the lower reaches of the EFL. Even on a bad day for them, they're still getting nearly 500 likes on a full-time update on a game in which they lost. Attendance figures in the Saudi Pro League are hitting an all-time low, but they're not going to focus on that because Cristiano Ronaldo has probably hit another great milestone, so it's a massive success for him and for the nation. 390 people turned up to watch the Al Clasico bout between Al Fire and Al Riyadh, featuring the legendary talent that is Chris Smalling. And if you're Chris Smalling, if you don't laugh, you'll cry, as he's gone from reviving his career at AS Roma after leaving Manchester United to playing in front of what is essentially the attendance of a school sports day. In fact, they were beaten in attendance by most clubs in the 6th division of English football in the last few weeks. What I'm getting at is they wouldn't look out of place at all in the Northern League Division 1 with the likes of Redcar Athletic and Kendal Town. I'm sure there are some genuinely die-hard fans of these clubs, I have no doubt, but it all adds up to be a smoke and mirror effect that says, please don't look at anywhere below 6th position. This fixture was the lowest turnout of the 24-25 campaign so far. Looking at Transfermarkt's tracking of attendance figures in the Saudi Pro League has been extremely helpful in showing the true picture. Over 3/4 of the clubs have average attendance figures of under 10,000 this season, and more than half had an average number under 5,000. But as Ronaldo said when he joined the Saudi project, the whole world is watching. In October of last year, Steven Gerrard's inaugural outing as boss of Al Ettifaq was watched by just 696 supporters. And this is what that looks like. The truth of the matter is that Saudi Arabia is just not a footballing nation, despite the amount of money the state has paid Roberto Mancini to go around looking for wonder kids in every town and village. Despite everything that I've touched on so far, the investors still believe that they have something over 2 years on from when they began turning those money taps. Moussa Diaby's move to Al Ittihad in the summer was arguably one of the most jaw-dropping of these moves, as he opted to go from the UEFA Champions League with Villa and Unai Emery to the AFC Champions League. The Saudi Pro League is very similar to what we're seeing in the English game, admittedly with a bit more brute force and money. A lot of money too, with very little trickling down. It's like the financial and squad disparity between Man City and Exeter City, but with the added jeopardy of having them play league fixtures against one another. It would be absurd. Call it lies, trickery, manipulation, sports washing, whatever. The fact is that the nation want you to think of the dazzle and spectacle of Al Nassr versus Al Hilal when you think about SPL football. I'm not going to go into the political or social issues in this video, as I really want to focus primarily on the football, but the wider world is already well aware of many of the cultural censorship issues and suppression of rights in the region. I'd also really like to focus on how they've been taking things to the next level in the last year or so, importing many European competitions and fixtures to the country, away from fans and the nations they usually played in. This element has massively flown under the radar, as surely the footballing world would be up in arms about the purchasing of several European Cup finals, like the Spanish Supercopa de España or the Supercopa Italiana, as much as they were about the proposed European Super League. A specific example of this in 2024 was the Super Cup semi-final at Al Aval Park between Napoli and Fiorentina. Now bear in mind, the stadium has a capacity of 25,000 and yet just 9,762 spectators turned out to watch. It's truly shocking. Why is this happening? Why are these games being normalised, and how long will Saudi Arabia continue to purchase huge European finals to be played in the country? Frankly, the reporting that hundreds of millions of euros have been splashed out for long-term and contracted deals, it's all over the internet, and yet it's rarely been front page or mainstream news. Is it just me that wasn't even aware that this was happening until it happened? And by that point, it was too late for people to band together and try and change it. Most fans seem angry that it is happening, but maybe realise they are powerless to change it, unlike the scenes we saw at the announcement of the European Super League. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I really want to know where other football fans stand on the footballing situation in the region, and the very lopsided media coverage in particular.